What is up, guys? Matt here again. So today I'm going to be doing another video, another sort of serious video, and the last video I did was about mental health. This is sort of along the same lines. So this video is going to be about addiction. Okay. So there's obviously many different types of addiction, right? So we're going to sort of go through them. We'll start off with ones that I'm sort of a bit less sort of familiar with, and then we'll go on to the ones that I'm a lot more familiar with. So first of all, there's stuff like gambling addiction, stuff like that. So the problem with gambling addictions are it's a financial thing, mainly, right? So people are addicted to gambling, they can't stop gambling, away their money, which is obviously, depending on their circumstances, can be very, very harmful, not only to themselves but also to the family. And because if it's an adult, well, obviously it's an adult because adults can get the ones that gamble. If they've got a family and they're gambling all their money, it's affecting everyone, right? It's affecting all their family. So that's a bit of a tough one. I don't really know. I haven't got any personal experience with that, really. So gambling addiction, it doesn't just affect the person that's got the addiction. In fact, most addictions don't just affect the person that's got the addiction. So next we got another one that's a bit weird. So like mobile phones, addicted to your mobile phone, addicted to, video games, stuff like that, right? So this I do have slight knowledge on. Not the phone side really, because I'm not addicted to my phone by any means. I don't really care about my phone. But obviously video games. I don't know if I'd probably class myself as addicted to video games. I do play them every day. For quite a reasonable amount of time, and not so much these days, but there were periods of time when if I didn't play games for like a few days, I'd start getting agitated and I'd behave a lot more differently than I normally do. So the problem with gaming addiction, and to an extent mobile addiction, is that other addictions can creep in. So gambling, for example, there's a lot of gambling in like video games these days, so that can come into it and make it twice as bad, really. So the next one's sort of like smoking. Obviously, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of smokers that are addicted to smoking, because that is what basically happens when you smoke for a long period of time. You do get addicted to it. There's quite a few people in my family that smoke. Some people have actually given up. Some people have managed to give up, like, for good. Others have been smoking, non-stop forever. Even I've smoked about 6 years ago, 8 years ago. I did it for about a couple of months, maybe, stopped, never did it again. Don't have any desire to do it again. So I obviously didn't get addicted. I just stopped it. Waste of money, not good for your health. No positives whatsoever. It's just one of those things that people get addicted to, So moving on. Smoking's pretty serious, so's gambling, and all that. Bit more serious now. Drug addiction. Okay, so this is a really, really tough one, right? So I don't really personally know anyone that's like hardcore addicted to drugs or anything like that. So I don't have the whole picture on this addiction, right? But it's probably the most destructive. Well, okay, I can't say it's the most destructive one because of the next one as well. But you know, if you're addicted to smoking and video games and your phone and stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily impact your whole life. If you're addicted to drugs, especially hardcore stuff, that's going to affect your entire life, as well as everybody involved with you, as well as everybody in your life. Unavoidable. So, bit of a sad story, okay? A very recent sad story. Not somebody I really know. I didn't really know them personally or anything like that. But it's very sad nonetheless. So there was this 27-year-old girl that I know of who lives in my hometown. I've seen her like once, never even spoke to her though. But she recently passed away from drugs. From that's what I've been told anyway. I'm assuming that's true. Very, very sad. You know, very recent, within this week. Only 27, left behind a child as well. So, you know, it's tragic. There's no other word for it. Just waste of a life. Not only is, you know, because it's not only, you know, obviously she's not here anymore. It's also affected her child's life forever. Now you have to grow up without your parent. So obviously that's, you know, drugs aren't good. Okay, guys, drugs are really not good. Even I mean, especially not the hardcore stuff, but even what people consider sort of not serious stuff, like, you know, a bit of weed or whatever. I don't know, man. I think it's a slippery slope, no matter how minor. So, but I can understand it's very difficult to avoid. I can understand that if you get into that environment, or if someone, I understand, but just think about other people in your life and how it not might is going to affect them. Just, you know, try and think about that, because stories like these, tragic and avoidable. They are. If you know, if people don't start, then it can't happen. But you know, it's awful. So on to the last one. This is the one that's probably the most personal to me. So, alcohol addiction. Okay. So, this has had the most impact out of all addictions in my life. And it's not even me with the addiction, okay? So, my mum is addicted to alcohol. She's an alcoholic, right? It wasn't extreme until I would say about 8 years ago, and then I sort of it sort of became a lot more apparent. Okay, so I was about 15, 16, and it got bad. It got really bad. Okay, she's definitely an alcoholic, right? She's been in rehab before multiple times, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult for me. It's difficult for everyone in my family, and obviously it's ongoing. Very, very, very tough. don't really talk about it to anybody because everyone in my family knows, but we don't really like to talk about it because it's not really something nice to talk about. But yeah, alcohol addiction is definitely the addiction that's affected me in my life the most because I don't live with my mum anymore. I don't really see her very often because I don't want to see her, in the state that she gets with alcohol and stuff like that. So it's very difficult, sort of. If you're an alcoholic, you can't be a parent and an alcoholic. You just can't. Okay, you cannot do your parenting duties and drink like that. You just can't. You can't. So it's very, very tough. Very, very, very sad. And definitely in the case of like drugs and alcohol and smoking, that's so incredibly hard to give up. I can understand that. They really are very, very difficult to give up. It's very difficult to just stop them, and just go without, because if it's a part of your life, you can't just cut that out and not replace it with anything. It's just can't do it. So it's very tough. An addiction of all kinds hurts so many people. And I think as a collective, we just need to do more to help people with addiction. Or the best thing to do is just prevent them from doing it in the first place. Now, with drugs and smoking, right, okay, that's a bit less common, but nearly everyone drinks alcohol, okay? I don't drink alcohol, but most adults do. And it's very important, if you do drink alcohol, you should know how much you can handle, so you can make sure that you're still sort of in control, because a lot of people, they just keep drinking and they lose control, and after that, who knows what's going to happen. That's the problem. People do a lot of things, people make a lot of mistakes when they're drunk. They're not in control anymore, so you might, with drugs and alcohol, you lose control. I mean, at least with smoking, you're still in control. But with alcohol and drugs, once you've had too much, that's it. You lose complete control, and you're very, very, you're most vulnerable then, really. It's very, very, very dangerous and risky, and it's not good. That's why I don't do anything like that. I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't do drugs, because there's no benefit to it. Okay, there isn't. There's no benefit. People smoke for stress or whatever reason. People drink alcohol or do drugs because of whatever reason, they're stressed or they're struggling with something. But it helps in the short term, but in the long term, it's definitely going to do a lot more harm than it would good. It's just not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk at the end of the day. So obviously, people that are struggling with addiction of any kind, it's harmful to you and it's harmful to others around you. So, seek help for it. People get addicted to things all the time. Okay, most people have some sort of addiction. It doesn't have to be extreme. It could be something minor, but it's probably harmful. So if you know you can't deal with it on your own, seek help. If you've got a family, you are obliged. You should do it, because it's not. Don't be selfish. It's not just you at the end of the day. It's also your family. Okay, they are getting hurt from your addiction as well. So don't be selfish. Seek help for it, for yourself, but and for your family. That's just think about stuff like that. Okay, I understand it's hard. Okay, I do. But you just can't, you cannot go through life like that. You just can't, okay? Because there will come a point where the addiction wins. Okay, with alcohol, liver damage, you know, stuff like that, smoking, lung damage, you know, drugs can damage a lot of things. So just you know, it's not a, oh, I'll just do it for a couple of months, or I'll just do it for a little while. Don't do that. Don't do that, because a little while will turn into months, it'll turn into years, and before you know it, something happens, you go into the doctor and the doctor says, right, stop, and you're struggling to stop because you've been doing it for so long. You just can't bring yourself to stop, and that is a big problem. You need to stop before you get to that point, guys, because, you know, most sensible people, if a doctor tells them you have to stop this, most people probably will. But if you're really addicted to it, you'll struggle even if it is impacting your health. You know, it's, as I said, it is hard, okay? It's hard. You have to have a very strong will to do it. But you've got to. You've got to for yourself, and you've got to for your family. You just have to, you've got to do it. You know, you got to find the strength, right? You got to find the strength somewhere to just stop, right? Try and find something to replace it, okay? Even if it's like eating, like the food addiction, that's another thing. Even if it's food addiction, okay, you are better off getting addicted to food than you are smoking, drinking, or doing drugs. You know, and then at least it's less harmful. People will argue, oh, it's not less harmful. If you eat loads of food, you'll get heart disease and get fat and obese and stuff. Okay, yeah, but smoking and alcohol and drugs is a lot more harmful, and you lose control with the drugs and alcohol. So just think about stuff like that, okay? But yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. It's a very difficult topic to talk about. I understand that. Obviously, I have personal experiences with some addictions. I've given my honest thoughts on it. You know, I've been upfront about situations in my life, because that, I feel like if I wasn't honest about stuff like that in the video, then I'm not being honest about the situation. And this is a situation you have to be honest. If you've got an addiction, you have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I know I have a problem. And this is the problem with a lot of people that are addicted to stuff. They don't acknowledge that they have a problem. And if you can't acknowledge that you've got a problem, you're never going to be able to stop or give up or get help. You know, you've got to acknowledge it, and then you can focus on dealing with it. But you have to want to. This is the problem, guys. If you don't want to give up drugs or alcohol or smoking, you're not going to be able to. You have to want to. And even if it's for your health's sake, that's not you wanting to. That's you wanting to because of your health, not because you actually want to give up. So you have to find a way to want to do it yourself. Right? So yeah, that was the topic. Very difficult. Addiction comes in a variety of ways, all harmful though at the end of the day. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, no, I not enjoyed the video, that's probably not the right way to put it, but I hope you watched the video and got something out of this, if that's why you watched it. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So I'll see you later, guys.